But like synthesis and stuff like that, I just feel like is just harder material to kind of get in your head.
Retrosynthesis was difficult for me because I suddenly had to do everything backwards, which is more of a difficulty than you'd anticipate it being.
The synthesis was just really complicated because there's just so many ways to get to the end product. So you can't really just there's no like formula, which was just really hard for me because I love like A equals B.
For me too. Um, and I feel like it took a lot more work on my part to figure out kind of how to like get by the problems.
I struggled with synthesis just because there were like, at first you started learning all of these reactions and a lot of steps and stereochemistry and everything, and then it comes down to synthesis where you have to put everything together and think about specific reactions. So at first it was kind of overwhelming to me.
For synthesis, I think that pattern recognition is the best thing. Like being like, I know that it's going to have these 5 reactions somewhere inside of this piece of paper, and then kind of being able to work through it.
For me, the skill of synthesis starts with looking at that final product and looking at your starting materials and kind of dividing that final product up and seeing where those connect.
And I think even when it comes to synthesis at the end, when you're working through kind of more complex problems with more reagents and stuff, if you like gain those fundamentals at the beginning of the semester, like all the mechanisms and electron transfers and stuff, when I did my practice problems, by that point, it started to feel almost like a game.
Now I could do synthesis just for fun because it's really fun to me to just synthesize in my head all of the different reactions. And what really helps out is to also figure out kind of like basic steps that can build up to different products depending on what you add.
I actually enjoyed the class a lot, and I ended up seeing it like with different stuff, like in research labs, like even like a cancer research lab that I was in, like they synthesized some of their own experimental drugs.
I am working right now and hoping to go to law school soon. So when I was in college, I took what was it called? This government class, constitutional law. It was like the constitutional law in law school, but it was extremely watered down. My professor was actually a professor at the law school, so it was like the real deal, but he knew we were like little kids, so he was very soft on us. And it was after I took organic chemistry, and I was suffering. I was like, this is so much to read. I've never read before in my entire life. I was like, I don't even know how to approach this. And then I started thinking, like when you get all of the cases and stuff like assisted suicide and human rights and First Amendment rights, and you're like, wait, this is like organic chemistry. It's not like the actual case you're studying. It's like how you're thinking about the argument and applying that logical argument to everything else. So then I start doing this weird thing of like mapping out all of the cases, like you map out all of the general mechanisms and reactions. And I was like, oh, this makes so much sense.
I would tell any incoming students to o.chem to not be afraid and to give themselves a chance to see if they can be successful in this course. It's not nearly, at least for me, I know that everybody has a different experience. It was not as intimidating as I thought it was going to be when I was actually in the class.
Check out the grade distributions for the course. You'll see like a lot of people do really well in the course, and that a lot of people telling you that it's hard are the loudest voices. So to not always listen to that crowd, and that you can be successful in it.
Going outside, like it's not, because sometimes you get the epiphany when you're away from the material. So my mom would tell me the story all the time. She would get so frustrated in college studying chemistry that one day she went back to her mom's house, my grandmother, and she laid out in the sun, in the Louisiana humid sun, and like laid in the grass, like just like in a star position, just kind of tried to chill out, because it's just it's like you see it happening in the reaction, but like you don't know why, and it's something small is just not clicking, and that's so frustrating. But and then you get it. I can't explain like the aha, but it's hard to articulate. But finding space away from it, you can't approach it as like a constant grind. You have to get away from it for a while and kind of chill out. Yeah, maybe even lay out in the grass, possibly.
Continue on. It's the last stretch, and you'll do good if you don't give up.